Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about an endless infinite grind spot that's available in Magic Legends currently. First thing I will say about this spot is that I don't think it was intended to be used this way. So I would imagine at some point in the future this guide will no longer be useful for people, as it'll probably be patched and fixed at some point. If you've been around YouTube or on Twitch lately looking for Magic Legends info, you've probably come across videos about the Forbidden Vault or seen streamers farming endlessly in the Forbidden Vault. There are areas there where you can just have mobs spawn over and over again and just continue to kill them. The spot I'm going to be talking about today is actually in the mission for Tazim called Surface Tension. And one of the best things about this is that it's easily done on normal difficulty, and it's actually good on normal difficulty even. Compared to the Forbidden Vault on normal difficulty is not nearly as good as this. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into the mission, and I'll talk about it as I progress through it. So the first thing you know about Surface Tensions is that it's one of the 10-minute missions. So it is going to take at least 10 minutes to get to the good farming spot that I'm talking about, because it comes at the end. So it is something where you can hop in, start the mission, go AFK for 10 minutes if you want to, then come back and do it. I'd recommend just going ahead and doing the mission like normal. You're going to be doing a suboptimal farm for 10 minutes, but then you'll get to the good stuff at the end. A few other things to know about the farm is one thing is that it's prone to crashing. Unfortunately, this mission, I'm not sure exactly what's causing it. I have some suspicions as to what might be causing it, but I'm not really 100% sure about it, so I don't want to say anything for sure. But so yeah, you just come in, you start the mission, your timer is going to start, you get 10 minutes to clear these things out. If you do want to come in and just AFK until near the end of the 10 minutes, the one thing that you do have to do is clear this first circle. Because right now, if I pull up the map, it's really hard to see, but it's currently blocked off. I can't go any further than this little area. So by unlocking this first circle, I've now unlocked the ability to go to the rest of the map. So you do need to do that, but then you can, from here, you could walk back to the entrance and go AFK for the next basically 9 minutes and come back. I'm going to go ahead and continue to progress through here for a little and work on getting my score up. Score doesn't really matter, to be honest. You will always finish the mission in the end, even if the game does crash. When you do reconnect, you'll be put back into the mission and be able to complete it and get the rewards for the mission. So that is one nice thing. You'll always be getting mission rewards for doing this. You can do it on higher difficulties if you have the damage to do it, but what I'll show you towards the end, there is one boss specifically that you need to kill very quickly, or it'll do a knockback and it'll ruin the farm for you. So you do need to have high enough damage to quickly defeat the monsters at the end. So yeah, so we're just progressing through. I'm clearing another circle, and then you just stand inside the circle to progress the bar. And I'm just killing everything while I'm at it. Also cycling, for those that don't know, the Green Warden card is currently busted. It is doing an ability, so when you get its activated ability and you cast it, it doesn't say anything about increasing your damage, but for whatever reason it's giving like a 400% damage buff to you for permanently afterwards in the same zone that you're in. If you leave the zone, then you'll have to summon it and do it all over again. But for whatever reason, it seems to be probably not working as intended. So, but for now, it's one of those things that exists in the game, and it definitely speeds up farming and it helps you get ahead. So, I mean, you may as well use it while it's available. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because I didn't really want to play green deck, but it's just so good, it's hard to pass on. So I still haven't got him to come back up on his thing. We'll move to this third circle here. You don't need to do any of these extra circles. It's not important at all. The end farms solely based on getting to the last spawn ahead of time. So still have not gotten it to cycle through for the Green Warden yet. So anyway, when you get to the end, even if your score is incredibly low, if you do AFK the whole 10 minutes and you decide to just do the farm at the end, you will be repeatedly killing bosses, and you will be able to get your score caught back up to be able to get a decent score. So it's not really important. I'm not sure that progressing it past, like, so if you get a gold score anyway, I'm not sure that getting a high gold score increases your rewards at all. I think it's just based on the gold, silver, bronze tiers. So the way this mission normally works, and the way that you're able to use it currently, is that at the end of the 10-minute timer, you'll be asked, the mission will change. So instead of cleansing these corruptions that we're currently supposed to be doing, it will ask you to go defeat merfolk champions. At that point, when you enter the area to go defeat the champions, it will start a 1-minute timer, which you then have 1 minute to kill as many of these champions as you can. And upon killing one of the champions, they will then respawn instantly. So it'll be like an endless loop of champions. There are 4 different champions that can spawn. One's a water elemental. One is a tree, like the Green Warden. One is a, like, I'm not sure what it is, like pounces around. Reminds me of like a big cat, but it's definitely not a cat. And then the last one is a griffin. The griffin is the one that you have to be careful of. The griffin does a knockback. And so let me walk over here to where the champions are going to be. It's actually right about where these 2 mobs are, right here. So right in the center of this path, just off to the, let's see, I guess it would be the south side of the first portal based on the map. It's kind of weird because the map is turned currently. It's the default orientation when you zone in. So yeah, you come to this spot, and this is where the champions are going to spawn, and they're going to endlessly spawn. And as long as you stay within a small radius right around this area right here, you will not trigger the 1-minute timer. So they will just continually respawn over and over again. I think that the reason that this works is that with the programming in the game, the way the mission was set up was so that your timer would not start until you get near the champions. So there's like some sort of trigger line somewhere around here in a circle, and basically what you're doing with this is you are starting that phase already inside of the circle past that trigger line, and therefore you are not triggering the 1-minute timer basically. So even though the champions start to spawn, the 1-minute timer doesn't start, and you can just endlessly kill. So to go over a few of the things that I do when I do this camp, one thing is to deal with the crashes. I think it's either related to the amount of loot that you're picking up in quick succession, or the amount of loot laying on the ground. So what I mean by that is if there's a bunch of loot laying around on the ground, that might get to the point where there's too much laying around and you end up crashing the game. As far as getting like looting too much, what can happen is when you loot a bunch of items all at once, there's like a bunch of icons that'll pop up underneath of the mini map and as you loot the things. And I think that if you add too many things to that queue at one time, that could also be causing the trigger that's causing the crash. So I'm not positive, but the way that I try to get around crashing it is just by taking a few seconds every couple of kills, just kind of taking my time. Like, even though I can rapid fire kill these things in 2 seconds basically, and just keep spouting them off, killing 4 or 5 every 10 seconds, like, I just take a minute, you know, here and there, not a minute, but a few seconds, and just slow down the killing pace a little bit. And by doing that, you know, I've been able to do this to the point where I go from this like 7,000 score that I'll have right here, and I'll go all the way up into the like, I don't know, 40, 50,000 range before I usually just get tired of it and, you know, close it out and start again. Now, this isn't like the main camp that I would do, and this camp is really only good for players that are needing gear more than anything. Gear and gold. It's pretty good for gold. It's also pretty good for the different mana types. So these different manas. However, I'm capped on all my manas for the week. So whenever I loot those, it just turns to gold for me. But it's pretty solid gold. I haven't done the calculations. I'm way too lazy to actually do that. But if I was to guess, it's probably maybe 25,000 gold an hour on normal difficulty. That's just a guess. Hey, look, I already got a new card from doing this. It's pretty nice. So yeah, I would say on average, generally, if I do this, I will often do it for maybe like 10, 15, 20 minutes before I get absolutely bored of it and decide to hand the mission in and go do something else. But I usually get like one new card every time I do it. So it's not too bad. Like, to me, getting the new cards is definitely one of the bigger, like, more exciting things in the game. I've got plenty of copies of all the cards that I have currently. I'm actually just being held back by the mana levels, like for my vault or whatever that thing is, your own personal realm, the leveling up your planes and stuff like that. That's basically what's holding me back on cards currently. So yeah, this is a pretty solid farm for gear and other things like that, and just catching up on some cards, and it's just really chill and really easy. So we've got 10 seconds now until the champions will start spawning. So you'll see I just need to make sure that I remain within this little circle here. The biggest thing is to make sure that if there was like a griffin that can spawn down there, that it's ready. Alright, so here we've got our first champion. I haven't actually activated my Green Warden ability yet, so this is me doing it on like pretty low DPS compared to what I normally can. But you see, I've already killed 3. Here's the Griffin. So for these, you want to make sure that you, it's probably a bad idea to tornado him there, but you want to make sure that you kill them with like some sort of big sorcery ability with the Griffin, just to make sure that the Griffin doesn't knock you away from the center area, and that way you don't trigger the 1-minute timer. Let's go ahead and activate our Green Warden here. This will boost my damage, so instead of doing like 6,000 damage for my primary attack, I'm now doing like 32,000 damage, and I can just fly through these things. The only thing other than just not paying attention or crashing that has caused me to fail and have to start the timer is occasionally you'll get like one of the hypnotics or anything that can stun you, as far as like an affix for these guys. And then if you get stunned and the Griffin spawns, and you just kind of get chain stunned, and then he eventually does his knockback. So it is possible to mess this up, which is why I recommend just doing the camp like you normally would. Just, as if it was the normal mission, go through the mission, and if you can get some bonus champions out of this at the end, you could end up doing this for hours if you really wanted to, but gets quite boring after a while. But it's basically all I gotta do is hold my click button, and I just mow these things down in a few seconds. So yeah, this is basically the farm. It's super easy. Like I said, I stop. You'll see me walk around and pick up loot every now and then, just to kind of make sure that I don't overload myself with all the loot that we're picking up, and just kind of slow it down a little bit and not make it too crazy. If a Griffin spawns, I always make sure I kill that pretty much instantly. But other than that, you can basically sit here AFK as long as the water elemental's up, as long as it can't kill you. The water elemental actually does like a suck in, so it'll actually pull you closer to the middle where it spawns. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've left out, but I don't think so. It's a pretty chill spot. It's pretty good for a new player. It can be done at all gear levels. It's nothing that you need like crazy gear for or anything like that, and it'll help boost your library a little bit if nothing else, and hopefully get your gold up, because that's one of the other things that, like, right now for upgrading artifacts is one of the big choke points. So anyway, this is basically it. You can do this for as long as you'd like, and let me know if you enjoyed this content, and I can see about making more in the future. This is my first YouTube video in a very long time, so yeah, just let me know if you want to see more content like this, and I'll try to come up with some stuff. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful farm.